Raise the Roof Production.
Well, you'll never know the heartache of looking a grown man in the eye, and he asks, am I gonna make it? And you've gotta lie. Well, they call me Doc, but I ain't got no degree. When shit hits the fan, they're calling for me. From bluegrass Kentucky, with red blood on my hands, nobody calls me hero except for my friends. Yeah, they call me Doc.
Hello, brothers and sisters and American patriots. Welcome to another episode of Sick Call with Doc. I'm your host, Rod Doc Walbeck, United States Navy Corpsman. Our co-host, solid man, Joe Misfit Glenn, United States Army Combat Medic. Brian's with us today, but in the back, hitting the dials, Brian Devil Dog Roof, United States Marine Corps combat veteran. We've been having a difficulty finding people that would love to come on and tell their stories. It's been happening, and we like to be honest about things like this. So we're thinking about people that we know, people that in our daily lives that might be able to share a story that would inspire a veteran. And Joe and I and Brian, we're doing our brainstorming, and what's this? We do this commercial, this Doc's Good Beard stuff. Who's that? It's Kevin Gouran, United States Marine Corps. Welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, thanks.
I'm glad you're here.
I really appreciate it.
It's
good to be here. Good to be able to tell my story.
Well, we talked. It's so amazing. Like, you don't know somebody until you talk to them,
right.
You know? And your story rang true inside me. I knew that you'd be able to reach veterans where they would see things like we do, and you're relatable to them. Mm-hmm. Your story has so many layers to it that it has to be shared, and that's why I'm so glad you're here today, man.
Well, thanks
very much. Thank you for your service too, huh?
Hey, yeah, you guys too, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're old school, 77 to 81. That's before me.
Yeah, I'm just right out of post-Vietnam right there. That's when I went in right out of high school, as a matter of fact, in June 1977.
Nice. Right on. So today's your day to reach your fellow brothers and sisters. You can speak your mind, say whatever you wish from the day you were born till today. It's whatever you feel like sharing that you think is relatable. That another veteran will go, yeah, I fucking understand that. I get that. It's your day.
Yeah, I guarantee my story's going to probably hit some people going, man, that sounds just like me. Mm-hmm. I think, maybe I'll just start off. I grew up in Colorado, Boulder, Colorado, in the 60s and 70s. With all the hippies, man, and it was great. It was a great time. Lived right there by the campus up there at Colorado University of Colorado. And anyways, my dad, he worked, but he was an alcoholic. And I struggled with that because, like most alcoholic kids, I had a brother and a sister. I was the middle child. And, my brother, he was a couple of years older, and he didn't want to deal with any of that. And then I had a little sister 5 years younger. And so I'm trying to deal with all of that, and it's really fucking me up. But I'm trying to live a life as a kid, a normal life, and However, I will say my dad was a great provider. I mean, we didn't want for anything, but there really was a difficult childhood. But having said all that, um, I knew when I was getting out of high school that I needed to make a choice. Just like most people, um, I had an opportunity to go either to college or stay in the environment I was in or
Yeah.
into the military. And my brother had chosen to go into the Marine Corps as well, a couple of years earlier when he got out. So I chose the same path. I just knew I couldn't stay home. And boy, did that changed everything. I mean, going into boot camp, going through all that stuff, right out of high school, and it was quite the experience. And I did okay in boot camp. I got meritoriously promoted to PFC. So when I got out, um, well, first of all, when I went in, I didn't even know what I was going to be when I was in the Marines. I just figured they just said, whatever we decide is what you're going to be. And I said, okay, I don't care. I just want to go in. And so um, when you go in, you do these tests. I forget what they're called, but they're like IQ tests. And so everybody does that. But they called me back and about 7 guys, and we went and did some other tests that were kind of strange. I had no idea what I was doing. They were all weird. I have no idea what they were, but I just put down what I thought and that. So at the end of the boot camp, they said, you're going to be an O1, which is an admin. And I said, okay. And so they sent me to Camp Pendleton for 3 months of admin school. So I went there. There's 150 guys there. And I did really well there. And I was number 1 out of school. And they promoted me to Lance Corporal, which was an E3. And I'm like, hey, I can't believe this. I haven't even been in E3. And then on top of that, they said you get to pick wherever you wanted to go. And that's where my journey began. And I said, and they had everything up on the board, and I got to pick. And I said, I think I'll take Hawaii. So they said, that's a 3-year duty station. We're going to have to extend you for another 6 months. So you'll be there for your whole tour. I said, okay, I like
That sucks.
So everything's going, hey, smooth sailing. I'm going, hey, I love this, right? So anyways, I get there. I hadn't been there a couple of months. And the Red Cross got a hold of me, and my dad had a massive heart thing, and I had to come back. And so I was here, and when I was originally assigned when I got to Hawaii to Marine Aircraft Group 24, headquarters and maintenance squadron 24 out of Kaneohe Bay. And we had the 1st Marine Brigade, and then we had the air station, Marine Corps Air Station, Kaneohe Bay. And we were combined. And so when I got back, when I got there, they put me on this really incredible job. They gave me a top secret clearance to go pick up these messages for the colonel at the MAG every morning. And I'd have to go pick up secret, top secret, confidential, bring them to him. And I was also his backup driver. And I said, this is pretty cool. But I also had a great captain. And he used to fly around and train on CH-53s. And I'd always ask him, hey,
Helicopter? Helicopter?
Yeah, because I was in the helicopter squadron.
Okay.
Quarters of maintenance squadron. So he would fly, and I'd go with him. And things were just going great. and I'm really liking what I'm doing. And then this thing happened at home. And when I went back, they assigned me to the USS Tarawa on Westpac. And oh man, I didn't really want to go. And I had my captain. I said, man, I like what I'm doing here. Well, I have no control, but he tried, didn't work. I got on the Tarawa. I was assigned to the 31st Marine Amphibious Unit. There was 4 of us in this unit. And so it was the major.
Four of people with your job?
Just 4 people in the unit. There was
Total?
a staff sergeant that we reported to, and a corporal, and myself.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
That was it. And so they put this little group together.
We lost your hearing.
Yeah, so I get on the ship to the USS Tarawa, the 4 of us, and we don't really know what we're going to do until we get attached out of Okinawa to the 31st Marine Amphibious Unit. Well, we get there, get attached. The next thing I know, they put me in and attached me to another unit on the ship. And it was called the Nucleus Landing Force Staff. And what these guys did was they ran the computers on the ship. And hell, man, this was 1978. I didn't know what the hell a computer was, right? And so anyways, they they put us up, me and my buddy George, and then the staff sergeant and the major. I don't know what the hell they did the whole 6 months we were on there, but anyways.
Stay in your pay grade.
Yeah.
All right.
So they stuck us with these guys that were, and what they did was they ran these computers. And what we did was when we were out doing maneuvers with like South Korea, doing stuff out there, they bring in information, and we would have to type it in on a key punch machine on cards. And line by line, you would type this on a card. Then you'd feed these cards through this machine, and it would make a printout. And then they would take that, and it would be like a landing plan. So, like, the Marines charging onto the beach, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, that's basically what we did on the ship. But get on there, did that for a little bit, and then I got called to KP duty. And so now I'm on KP duty, and I'm going, no. I go to the major. I said, I can't do that, man. Can't do that. He goes, have no choice. You're on the ship. You're going to do it. So I got assigned to the chief's mess.
Yeah,
and
man.
I loved it. It was so great. I mean, the great food. I mean, I loved the guys in the Navy. These guys were wonderful to us. And like I was telling Doc, we'd have to pick up their plates and shit and serve them and that kind of thing. And so I said, you know what? I'm tired of this shit. I'm putting out a tip jar. So I put a big tip jar out there. They started filling it up.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
Yeah. So we were at we were based out of Subic Bay. And so everything worked out great. I mean, for me on that. And I got done with my duty, and I was like, I want to stay for another 30 days. Had to go back to work.
Yeah. So you didn't want to go there in the first place. And then when you got in the chief's mess, you're like, I don't want to go anywhere. I want to be right here.
Exactly.
And we talked about this. I got, the funny thing was I go, oh, you had to go to mess duty. We called it Navy mess duty. Right. And for us, it's 90. So I'm like, it's only 90 days. He goes, no, it was only 30 for us. I'm like, what are you bitching about, man? You do 90 days doing the dishes, But after 30 days or so, I did so good that they let me go work in the chief's mess. Yeah. Well, I had to cook their food to order. They would go out and buy their own food, bring it in, and you made each chief, there was 2 dozen, 3 dozen of them, and you're the only cook.
Yeah.
And man, they took care of me so good, man. I got to eat all their leftovers And I didn't have to mess with none of the other mess decks. It was just me and the Chiefs, and they
Yep.
took great care of me. It was good duty. Not
It was,
so I did.
yeah, it was great duty. I mean, the whole experience of Westpac was great. We were out there picking up refugees that were fleeing the countries, you know, like Vietnam and Laos and Cambodia, trying to get out of that area. And they were getting shot down because they didn't want all these immigrants coming. And it just was a mess out there at the time. We picked up 400 refugees on the Tarawa. And there's one of the ladies was pregnant and had a baby, and she named the baby Tarawa. So, yeah, it was the first Westpac, as a matter of fact, out of Hawaii that I was able to go on. And so I have a big heart for the Navy and for being out there serving in that capacity. But during that, you know, hey, we're boozing it up and having a good time. Just, you know, we're loving it.
And we're on the ship going, oh, these fucking Marines embarked on our ship, fucking guys.
Like I was telling Doc, my God, NSU, baby. Everybody got that. And it was like 5 times I had that shit.
For our listeners, non-specific urethritis.
Yes. Oh my God.
It's in the air there. It's how it happens.
Yeah. It's from drinking the beer over there.
Yeah.
So,
got some sort of bacteria in it or something.
Anyways, I get back to Hawaii, and so I have a girlfriend that back in Boulder, and so I finish out my duty there. But it's kind of interesting. When I got back, I'll tell you a real quick story that I haven't told anybody about in a long time. But I didn't live on base when I got back. I lived outside of the base in a condo with 2 other Marines and a civilian guy. Anyways, it was great. But one day, there's always stuff going on. But one day, I was alone, and I go, my gosh, this is like freedom for me out here. And I got a knock on the door, and it was a camera crew and this reporter, and they said, hey, did you hear this was December 11th or 8th or so, I forget the date, 1980. Said that John Lennon was killed. And I said, my God, I said, I just turned on the news. I said, I heard about that. And they said, well, do you know this guy named Mark David Chapman? And I go, no, never heard of him. He goes, well, he lives here. And I go, whoa, you got the wrong place, man. There's nobody named that lives here. Well, 6 months earlier, when we took over the lease, Mark David Chapman, the guy that killed John Lennon, lived in our condo.
That's why I knew that name. I knew that name, man.
I'm like, you have got, and now this is a great story. So reporters from all over the world flocking on us like we knew something, right? All they had was his driver's license, which had our address on it. And so it's 4:00 in the morning now. I called, I mean, finally get rid of everybody. And I got to be on duty. So I called the sergeant on duty, Sergeant Cuomo, and I called him and I said, hey, man, I said, you're not going to believe this, but the guy that killed John Lennon used to live here. And I've had all these reporters, right? And he goes, yeah, right. I said, I'm tell the captain I'm going to be late. Well, fuck, you can't call in late to the Marines.
Not even a thing.
Yeah. Anyways, I got a call back saying you better be in here in 30 minutes and on time. Anyways, I got in there. I told them the story. They didn't believe me. They think I was like partying the night before or something. And so come to find out, public affairs was notified by all these reporters. captain called me in and said, "You can't fucking talk to the press. Go home." Anyways, it was quite an interesting little thing that happened while we were out there. But anyways, while I was in the Marines, man, I drank a lot, partied a lot, just like most guys. Got out, I got married, and I stayed in this computer field, and worked for McGraw-Hill for 28 years. I traveled all around the world putting in voice and data networks for them, and became a severe alcoholic. And I quit drinking now over 16 years ago, December 1st of last year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome, brother.
Yeah. And this is where I want to get into my story. Now that you got a kind of a back up a little bit, but you kind of know what's going on.
I got, you reminded me of something when you were talking. This may not be for all veterans, but it might relate to a lot of veterans. When you go in, yeah, you may have like some promises they made, or you're going to go to this school or that school. And a lot of us didn't get any of that stuff.
Mm-mm.
You know, I didn't. My
Nope.
life could have gone a million directions from when because you're here for the needs of the Navy. And the series you said, my first name is Needs and my last name is the Navy. You're going to do what the hell I tell you you're going to do, you know.
Exactly.
You know, so, and the other thing is that because you didn't know what was going to happen next sometimes, that would made it exciting,
Right.
you know? And
I
you
knew I didn't
find
have-
yourself in things you never thought you'd ever have to do, or, you know.
It was, and there's nobody that I know that's been in the that has served that has ever said, "I regret doing that." I've never heard anybody. Now, I do know. Oops, sorry guys. I do know that the problems of drug abuse and alcohol, due to all the trauma, exists while you're in the service. I was non-combat, but believe me,
Right.
There's stuff that you still go through that everybody goes through that present some kind of issues.
You were 77 to 81, and
Right.
there wasn't a whole lot of piss testing going on then. But when I joined in 84, it was rock solid. You take one puff, we'll catch you. And there was no allowance of anything. I took one puff
I never
after
had
boot
a
camp.
piss test ever in the Marines, not once.
Right.
So
Yeah, I took one puff one time and I was
they knew
pissing my
people were
pants.
smoking, and I mean it was you're right. It was that Vietnam era was carrying over. You know what I'm saying?
Right. During your time, it was frowned upon. When I joined, it was like, you'll get kicked out.
Yeah, we didn't even. Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, anyways, but my choice became alcohol when I got out, and as I went through my career, I like I told Doc, after 28 years of not being at home, all I was doing was working and traveling and doing all this shit and drinking and eating out every night. And I mean, that was my life.
On the road.
On the road. I worked for a great company, and I was able to retire at 53. I have a pension. These were older times back then. You got that kind of stuff. And I was very fortunate.
Yeah, you were with McGraw-Hill for 28 years, huh?
Yep, I was. And so when I turned 55, I took my pension because I really didn't want to retire, but they outsourced our department, 60 of us. But they gave us 18 months of our salary, which was really nice. And then I turned 55 because I was 53. So I started getting my pension. And then after that, you guys, I had some personal trauma that happened. And it took me about 8 months after that trauma, but I checked myself into rehab. And that's when I quit drinking. And that was 16 years ago. And now here's where the story gets interesting. So now I'm not drinking, but I'm falling into severe depression. And even suicidal ideation, and just was this all worth it? And I became ill, mentally ill, physically ill. I got up to 260 pounds, and then I dropped down. I lost 130 pounds, and they didn't know why.
From heavyweight to flyweight. I mean, like,
Right.
Yep.
Well, hey, real quick, let's take that break because I don't want to interrupt this part of your story, man. It seems really important.
Yeah.
So let's do that.
Let's do that. Let's
American made, better known. We are Doc Goodbeard. It's more than just looking good. When it comes to your beard, we believe you can have it all. Thoughtfully designed, unique fragrances, and affordable prices. We strive to provide a line of uniquely scented balms and oils that you won't find in other products. Come on, rock with Doc, and remember, it's all about the beard, man. So what do you say? Let's take that average beard and make it badass. Go to docbeard.com.
Hey y'all, Hot Rod Wally here. Finally, a revolutionary nutrient line that puts the needs of you and your plants first. Easy to use, forgiving, tweakable, versatile, and clean. Utopic Essential Nutrients blends only the most refined raw materials, the perfect blend of plant hormones derived from kelp, along with silica and humates, makes Utopic a powerhouse plant food. From commercial industrial growers down to our beloved hobbyists. Come discover our truth at www.utopicessentialnutrients.com. Come get them. Hey, and we're back. Hey, that Doc Goodbeard commercial, the AI voice that was voiced over on it sounded pretty good.
It's all about the beard, man.
Yeah. Sounds like Brian, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Very weirdly alike, you know. You had a successful life, even though you were drinking and gluttony and too much of everything, and on the road and eating bad, and but you retired. You did it. You were successful.
Right.
People looked up to you at your work. We talked about,
Right.
You were proud of the work you did, and you would think that would bring you all the joy you would need. And it's not always like that, is it?
No, it's not. I mean, I fell apart, and I didn't know why. And all of a sudden, I started getting illnesses. When I quit drinking, all of a sudden they found that I was diabetic. And then I ended up having 5 knee surgeries, 2 shoulder surgeries. I had a heart stent put in. I mean, it's 22 surgeries I've had. And I became addicted to opioids.
Oh, so is that before? It's after the booze? After you quit drinking?
Yes, after the booze.
Wow.
So
here we go again, huh? Another roller coaster.
Again. Exactly, because now I'm sick all the time, and they don't know why. And then I got diagnosed. I mean, I started seeing a psychiatrist for the depression and a counselor, and I did everything that I could to try to keep myself from falling apart even worse than what I was. And now I've been married to that beautiful girl too, that girlfriend I talked about for 43 years.
Oh yeah, bro.
And she is my life. And I mean, she has supported me through all of this. I can't say enough about my wife, Lisa. And so during this time, I ended up being for pain. I had a back surgery, two back surgeries where they drilled in there, and I have a fake knee, and just I mean, it just went on and on. And I was hooked on this opioid for pain, and I was on 60 milligrams of morphine a day. So 20 in the morning, 20 at noon, and 20 at night.
Imagine that. Whew.
And 3 500 milligrams hydrocodone 3 times a day.
Yeah. I was right with you on that.
Yeah.
Spot on.
And that went on for, I don't know, 5 years maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And 6 years.
Did you lose all that weight before the opioids?
Yes.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
Because I have a real story about that.
Yep. And so one day I decided, I said, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do this anymore. I feel like shit all the time. This is not helping me. It's making it worse. I'm going to lay down in my bed and I'm going to go cold turkey. 4 or 5 days of, I didn't throw up or anything like that. I didn't have those, but I didn't sleep. It was uncomfortable. I mean, there are all sorts of different, I mean, now it's been a while since that's happened, but, anyways, I got off the opioids, but I still had the pain. And
yeah, so then now what, right? Exactly.
So now what am I going to do? So I researched, of course, marijuana, which I had smoked a lot when I was in high school and throughout, but I never did when I got out of the Marines. Never did until after all the sickness. And I went to the doctor. I talked to the doctor and I said, here's my issues. And I've got a medical marijuana license out here in Colorado. And so, wow, did that help? It changed everything. Mm-hmm. And I told everybody about it. I told all my friends. I mean, there was people that were like, what? And I go, look, I vape. I'll vape. And it helps me mentally. It helps me physically. It helps, and I'm not on opioids. And my body now is not falling apart because of that. Because ultimately, I believe that's before that and after that. During that time frame, I
lost them.
Surgeries. That all combined together fucked me.
Oh, there he is. Oh, there he is.
We're back.
Okay, sorry guys. Sorry, listeners, for the technical difficulties.
Nope.
Go ahead.
So, I mean, that's where I started getting involved in trying to help myself without other kinds of medications.
Right.
And let me step in real quick. Joe and I have talked about this. There's a recurring theme with our veterans. One, a lot of them don't touch any holistic medication after they get out at all. That's taboo, and they don't know nothing about the cannabinoid system and how the cannabinoids can really help you medically. So that's one. And then the other one is when a veteran fucking decides they've had enough of something.
Yeah.
And they set their mind to it, we can do anything.
Yeah. Exactly.
We've proved it in our service day in and day out.
Mm-hmm.
And we see it all the time, Joe. There something happens, like that's it. That's fucking it. And they're done. And that's what I love about my fellow brothers and sisters, man. When we make that, boom, it's done. I applaud you.
Thank you, man.
All veterans should do that.
Yeah.
Well, I agree. I think it's, I mean, we all have that discipline. We drive for success. That's what we were taught.
Mm-hmm.
How many times did you have to reach down inside yourself for the mission?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And challenge yourself whole crazy ways, you know?
And the hardest mission ever was not to go too far and take my life.
Well, imagine all you'd have missed so far.
Yeah, man.
Branson turned 14.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and let me tell you, I'm not the only one whoever has those thoughts, because people that suffer with addiction, I would say, tend to have that thought once or twice. Not that they're going to go through with it, but that is it all worth it? How do I stop? How do I do this? How do I do that? Well, I can tell you what you need to do is get support people like you two guys, and the people that I support, like Hero Stock and Brian Roof and those guys, and hook up with us, talk to us, and feel better.
Problem is, veterans isolate. We have to go grab them. We have to go grab them and bring them.
Yeah.
And I get why we do that. I do 100,000%. It's just, but that's not the answer.
No,
it's not.
Because guess what? You've been isolating for how long? How's that doing for you so far?
right.
Yeah.
You know, you got to get out of your comfort zone, just like in the military.
Yep.
You got to use your self-initiative, just like the military. When you're in the military, and pull yourself up by the bootstraps and come hang out with veterans that give a fuck. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
Which is going to bring me into probably the last part of my story, which is Doc Goodbeard. And
yes, I do. Thank you.
Yeah. And so let me tell you a little bit about that. I got involved with Doc Goodbeard because of a high school friend that I grew up with. He was a veteran in the Air Force. His name was Jim Dorkins, and he actually created Doc Goodbeard. And Jim looked like Santa Claus. And I ran into him at church, and I gave him a big hug, and I said, "Jim, how are you?" And I go, "Man, you smell good." He goes, "Well, he said, I was a trailer truck mechanic with the Teamsters, and I got disabled, got hurt on the job, needed to make a little extra money." He goes, "So I started developing beard care product." And I go, "Wow." I said, "Well, it really smells good." He goes, "Well, this is the first one I made." I said, "Well, Jim, I said, I'm retired. I said, I would love to help you. I'll go to the shows with you and sell, and go to the trade shows, and we'll have fun, hang out together." Right? So sure enough, we did. And then I became Jim's business partner. We were starting to do pretty good. People started recognizing our brand out here in Colorado, and we're going to the shows, and things were going good. And we got involved with Kevin Harrington with Original Shark on Shark Tank, and they did fix us up with putting our landing pages together, our shops together, our website, all of that, and did some marketing and advertising. And then Jim and I were just moving along, trying to build the business. And we were at a big Christmas show at the Colorado Convention Center in 2021. And after it was over, about 2 weeks later, Jim passed away from COVID. And it was quite a shock. And it was that time where, you know, that you can't talk to him, you can't go see him, you can't do
Yeah.
this, you can't do that.
That was bullshit, by the way.
Nonsense.
Absolute bullshit. Jim was a firm believer, and in the last text, he goes, Kevin, they're going to put me on a ventilator. And I text back, I said, don't let them put you on a ventilator, buddy. And so when Jim passed, I had to make a decision. Am I going to continue with the business? You know, I'm retired. Do I really need to do this?
Right.
So, of course, I talked to Lisa, and I said, we can either just stop, cut it off, call it what it is, or we can go all in. Well, we went all in.
Hell yeah.
And Jim passed away December of 2020. And then I took over the business in 2022 in the spring, and I've been running it ever since. And like I said, we are supporting organizations like Hero Stock. I've gone to 2 of their big events that they've held in Rolla, Missouri, and one in Ashland, Nebraska. And Jim would have been so proud of that. And I needed to do this for him. And it goes back to your point, Doc, where you say we keep going. And we just, that's just what we are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Was Jim married?
Jim was married, but he had divorced. And so when he passed, he wasn't married.
Oh, I was gonna say of all the things the guy could have started doing, the millions of different options he could have done,
Yeah.
he picked doing beard care. I was probably because his wife was bitching that he had a dead raccoon on his face all the time. You know what I mean? If you smell your beard, you should do some beard care stuff.
Right.
No.
Well, what an odd thing to. You know what? I think I'll do beard care. You know, I mean,
know.
what created that in his head? I mean, like.
Well, I got to tell you, if you guys look out, I mean, you look around, there's a lot of beards out there.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, most guys just let it go and they don't take care of it. And Jim took care of his beard. He was proud of it, and he wanted to show that off. So that's why he did that. And so then when I got involved with him, I learned all the formulations and all the benefits of, you know, putting it on your skin and moisturizing, conditioning your hair, just like you do every day. And so it's been fun doing it because it's given me something to do, and also to move Jim's dream ahead, because that's really what this is about. Jim's dream. And I'm just living it.
Well, that's I can imagine going to events and stuff with your beard stuff. I mean, that's something fun to talk about. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, you know, like lighting for your tent, you know, for your weed or something. I mean, this is personal care stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had a team of people that I took down to Vegas a couple of years ago. This is after Jim passed. We went down to Vegas to the White Label at their convention center, and we were the #1 booth out of the whole convention center. Doc Goodbeard. It was bizarre.
Nice.
Well,
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but anyways, it was great.
and when we talked, you know, the other thing about veterans is I know I've seen some bad stuff from veterans, but for the most part, I think veterans always try to do the right thing. They try. And when your buddy passed away and you were wondering what to do with the rest of your life, and you talked to your wife and you went to his family, you said, hey guys, what do you want to do? I can do this, we can do that. Tell me what you want, and that's what we'll do. And they're like, take it and get after it.
Yeah.
So
that's exactly what happened.
And I respect that.
Yeah, I do too. They were wonderful, and I'm honoring their father, and you know, because he had 3 boys, and So I'm honoring them, and I know they appreciate it because I hear from them occasionally. So it's good.
Right. Right on.
Yep.
And to keep them in the loop, knowing that the dream is still rolling.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I tell you, it's going, and you just, I just keep it going, and I love it. And we're going to go to Ashland again this year, to Eurostock, in August, and set up a booth out there. We have a barber chair that a gal out there, she brings, and they trim beards, and it's and all the bands, and it's a great time. So
Right.
So how do we go find your products?
Yeah.
well, we sell them on Amazon. We got them on our website, goodbeard.com. We sell on called the Grommet. It's a pretty big inventors kind of application where people just make their products, and if they get accepted, they send them out there, and it's a great deal. I've sold a lot of product off of the Grommet.
Cool.
So there's several places. I have a place that I sell here in Denver at a barber shop. So I got a couple barber shops.
Nice.
And
So what would you recommend to somebody who's brand new at grooming?
oh,
I mean, just to keep it tame and soft and smells good. What would you recommend? Couple, 3 products. What would you do?
well, there's a couple of things. First thing I would do is, I think the length of your beard has a lot to do with what you want to use. I typically use just balm or conditioner of some sort, but I do use oil on top of that occasionally, just because it gets a little bit longer.
Mhm.
I've asked the guys with beards what they like the best, and it really is personal preference, but guys with longer beards tend to like to get some oil in it.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to tame. I mean, because my beard can get out.
Yeah,
really
mine just does all this
I
shit.
need it's real coarse. I have really coarse hair, so I'd like to condition. May sound like the appropriate term, but yeah, I just need to keep it tamed, and so that would be my go-to product, I think.
Well, then for you, I would start off with balm.
Balm. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then I'd get a combo for you, because you got a beautiful, long, well-groomed beard.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If he had some plastic surgery, he could really make him look good.
Yeah,
Huh?
almost there, man. Dang it.
He's gonna start being on my podcast, the Good Beard Society.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do it.
Nice.
Yeah, man. I had recently trimmed my beard, so this is new, but it used to be down mid-chest.
Yeah, that's good.
Got a little bit unruly, but as long as you spend a little bit of time on it, it's okay. But I do a lot of braiding, and so there's that too.
My buddy's had a beard for a long time, and he's a painter. So he's up on a ladder, and his beard was getting real long, and he had the thing the little cup with the handle and his paintbrush.
Yeah.
And he goes like this, and he reaches and he puts his whole beard right down in his paint. That night he shaved it off. He's a baby face now.
Damn, I'm done.
He's paint everywhere, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would mop up anything I was eating, anything I was drinking. It did not matter. My beard was in it. And so, that's where the braids came in. It kept it a little bit in place.
Yeah, I'm finding that I'm storing food if I'm not careful.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
That's why you got to take care of it, man. You got to keep it clean. Got to have a brush too, or comb or something. Yeah.
Maybe that's where the smell comes. I don't know.
It will. Oh, yeah. It sure will. Flavor saver, right?
Yeah. Hey, Kevin, we asked every vet, or I bring this up to every veteran that comes on. I try to. You tell your whole story. Let me ask you this: Have you put thought into, like, if I could reach out and say anything to a veteran who's in a dark spot, what would you say to somebody to help them find more light in their life? what would you want to tell a veteran in trouble?
Wow. The first thing I would say is that you need to pray. I don't care who you pray, but you got to pray, even if it's to yourself. Second thing is you've got to reach out to somebody that you trust and love. That's key. Love, trust, and love.
Yeah.
And you have to be, what's the hardest thing. And it's easy now. You just got to be open. Mm-hmm. You've got to tell what you're feeling, no matter what it is.
Yeah. Honesty. Just be honest.
I mean, how hard it is. I will tell you, I know I talked to Doc right here and told him a couple of years ago of a tragic, horrible story that happened to me that I relive several times every day. And it was a severe car accident here in front of my high school that I graduated, of a guy going 100 miles an hour and T-boned this lady and her 16-year-old son. And I was the one that he passed to do it. And I was just going down Main Street normal.
Yeah, 25-mile-an-hour road.
And he was an illegal alien deported 4 times that they had released. And it was very tragic. And I saw things that I can't even explain, but I prayed over the bodies. And I'm sharing that. I wasn't going to, but I wanted to, because I said you need to open up and let people know.
Yeah.
And
oh, brother, that's awesome, man.
And so I'm sharing that as long as you do that and you have those people, other people, you'll get other avenues, is what I'm saying, will open up to you in your mind and in your social groups. And people, you'll be surprised how much people want to help and reach out and hug you.
You can't get anything good going in if you're closed.
Right.
No customers if you're closed for business.
This kind of brings up what I have been saying more and more and more, as far as being honest with yourself and being open. I like to tell people to look in the mirror, look at yourself, look in your eyes, and be honest with yourself. Quit lying to yourself, because we do it. We lie to ourselves daily, but look at yourself while you do it. You will know exactly what you need to work on. Now, just be honest with yourself and look yourself in the eyes, in the mirror, and fix yourself. We all want you to fix it, and I'm here to help. So,
It's easy to make an excuse.
It is.
It really is, and shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
But if you let it out, man, I'm telling you, I've talked to so many people, and especially about my alcoholism.
Same.
People are very supportive about that. Man, that's so great, Kevin. You haven't had a drink? Nope, I haven't. And I haven't been on an opioid for, I don't know, 8 years or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So
my biggest lie to myself was telling myself that I had it under control.
Yeah.
When I'd only have 5 beers that night.
Yeah.
Or at least everybody thought.
Right.
So yeah, I was on the right track and I was in control. They just didn't understand that I had 3 or 4 hidden in the back that, I was going to closet drink them.
On ice in a little baggie somewhere, just for
And so all I'm saying, people, those little lies are killing you.
Killing you.
And they almost killed me. And I know that I'm not alone in that thing. But was it my proudest moment? No. But here I am. And I know that we all have these kind of stories to share. And so that helps me open up and be, as you say, just honest and open.
Yeah.
We all have struggles. I'm learning that hardcore more and more every day. I'm not the only fucker. You think you are sometimes, and that's when you're really fooling yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. It was
our struggles, man. We all have them.
Yeah, and if a veteran makes the decision to just reach out, open up a little, baby step, Talk to another vet for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just baby steps, and start building on your successes. Yeah. You'll start seeing the hope. You start seeing a better. You might learn something from somebody. Maybe. You know, like what? Yeah. You might get in touch with a feeling you had no idea you even had. I mean, the miracles of opening up, finding some holistic medicine instead of these opioids and all the pharmaceuticals, which Joe and I used to push. Joe and I were pill pushers at one time, basically.
Yeah.
You know, and now we're telling you, fuck, don't do that.
Yeah. I learned. You know why? Because I was that patient too. I learned personally that, shit, I was encouraging people to kill themselves, for Christ's sake, basically. You know, so that's one of those things that kicks you in the nuts real hard, you know. Dang. But now we know, you know, and so let's spread that word.
Yeah, and you know, and there are medications that are just absolutely fucking mandatory. You won't be here, you know, and they take care of things. Like, you can't get rid of an infection without the right antibiotic. That's a pharmaceutical, you know.
Hey, and you know, one thing I wanted to mention too about this open honesty and shit is the weight that you lose by opening up. Get that weight off your shoulders. Yes, because now you've shared it with the group, and now we're all bearing the weight. Okay, and now we're all here to help you. And so, that's a big one.
And the other thing too, when you open up and you talk to somebody else who's had a lot of troubles too, you find that sometimes yours isn't so bad. So now you find some gratefulness, right? Yeah. And all of those are building blocks to bring you back from this dark place you may be. Baby steps is, I thought, if veterans could do anything, just make your bed that day. Anything to make you proud of yourself for one little thing. You know?
Yeah, because you're going to be falling into that depression, and you're going to be. It's a fucking nightmare. That brain, that it's the worst fucking thing. Get out of it. Let it out. That's what I did, and it worked.
It is tragic to sit there and suffer by yourself.
Yes.
That's what creates tragedy.
So that's what I have to say to my fellow veterans.
That's a mouthful, brother.
Yeah, it is.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I learn every day talking to other veterans. I learned so much from them. And,
guys, let me tell my story, because I know I like to run off the mouth.
Well, you're a Marine, you know.
There's that.
You know.
I think I could have been a good drill instructor.
You think so? Yeah. The stuff that you did would fall under yeoman in the Navy.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. With a top secret specialty of some kind, but
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyways, it sure was great talking with you guys.
Kevin.
I knew that your story would be warm and people could relate to it. And if one veteran out there goes, man, I lived where he lived. I was in those same apartments or condos.
Yep.
You know, anything that they can grab onto and start opening up themselves.
Exactly. I hope that
I wanted to mention too, man. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but
okay.
I try to mention this too. It's amazing to me. Every show that we do, I am able to relate. And this is exactly what we were trying to tell you. Somebody out there is going to relate to your story. I absolutely related to your story through the opioids, the narcotics, and through the drinking, and through the accidents that just devastated us, to the loss. I feel every bit of that. And so thank you from my heart. Thank you for coming on here and sharing that and making me feel less alone. Right? That's the goal, right? That's what we try to do for us veterans. And you helped me. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. I thought of what I was trying to say earlier was, I forgot it again. I forgot it again already.
Dang it.
See, that's why I always talk fast, because I got to get it out before I forget.
Yeah.
Damn it. Anyway, sorry, guys.
That's all right.
TBI.
Oh, man, multiple.
Yeah.
I played hockey for 7 years.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Kevin, for coming on. Thank you for your courage, brother.
Yeah.
You're welcome, guys.
And I know someone's going to relate to your story, and it's going to make
Absolutely.
a difference in their life. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Absolutely.
brother.
You guys have a great week.
I'm gonna get a hold of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you can, like I said, you can get a hold of www.goodbeard.com, Amazon, the Grommet. Just go out and Google us.
You have Facebook?
We have Facebook.
I'll come check you out on Facebook too.
We have all those, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. As a matter of fact, I have really good TikTok videos out there that I did playing my instruments, because this is my sanctuary here, guys. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a studio.
Nice.
And I got drums right here next to me.
Always wanted to learn how to do the drums. It's one of my bucket lists I'm probably never going to get to, man. But I wanted to be a rock star drummer, dude. That's what I wanted to be when I grew up, growing up.
I want to fiddle with the banjo, man. That was always been my instrument I wanted to play.
A banjo?
Yep.
Well, if you guys ever make it out here to Colorado, you come to, I have every instrument that you can imagine.
Oh, nice.
So
right on. I remembered it now and I wrote it down.
What's that?
There you go.
That way I won't forget. We were talking about baby steps and opening up and taking it slow. And when you're coming back from wherever you're at in a dark spot, and you start and you get to a point where you want to go do big things again, you're going to have struggles even with that.
Mm.
But at least now you worked your way out of that hole to where you can deal and understand and cope with the new struggles that are going to come your way when you're chasing whatever you're chasing. That's what I want to say.
Because those other demons are not on you, like you said, Joe, not on your shoulder, and the weight has been lifted. So you can focus clearly on what's going on now.
Right.
Well, you know, one real quick caveat to that just popped in my head. You know, we talk about our demons, our dark sides, right? All those things that make us dark. Well, I'm of the mind that we all have to exist together. There's light and there's dark, there's good, bad, you know, but it all has to work together. You're not going to throw it away and just get rid of it forever. It's still going to be there. So eventually you're going to have to deal. And that's where the honesty comes in. And that's where the truth and authenticity comes in. And you know, quit coddling yourself. Okay. We weren't coddled in the military, folks. So why are you coddling yourself now? You know that you can get better, because we're here. I'm here telling you, you can get better.
Right.
Come on, come talk to me and let me try to show you how. All right.
Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself.
Exactly. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Why is your rear view mirror so much smaller than your windshield? Because what's coming ahead is way more important.
Yes, sir.
Than the fuck ups of the past.
You got it.
Exactly right, Doc.
All right, guys. Kevin, thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
I love you guys. Thank you for listening.
Yep. All right, guys.
All right. Take care, guys. Thanks for showing up.
Yep.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.